What's up, everybody? I want to tell you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting Anchor on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So download Anchor, the app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. And I'm a veteran, so let's hear some more military cadences. What's up, family? Let's get into another round of news you can lose or use. Speaking of hot topics, Wendy Williams went to rehab and she is expected to make a full recovery. She says she's been feeling better than ever. Let's see what else is going on. Meghan Markle, she has a podcast, and she was saying that when she used to be on Deal or No Deal, which I forgot she was even on there, she said that it was pretty awful experience. Let's see what she's saying.
On the past few years, where everything is through the lens of the media, as opposed to, hey, it's me. I'm just excited to be myself and talk and be unfiltered, and yeah, it's fun.
So on this, it's called Archetypes, and she was saying how the labels of bimbo and dumb blonde explore why brains and beauty have been historically pitted against women, and just how since she's launched it, she's sharing gripping testimonies about her personal life. The series has been insightful when she hones in on dealing with harmful stereotypes typically placed on women. Says she went on the game show to further her acting career while also juggling an internship in college. She recalled that while on the show, she couldn't help but notice how differently she was portrayed on the screen. I was on the set of Deal or No Deal and thinking back to my time working as an intern and being valued specifically for my brain. Hero was being valued for something quite opposite. Well, we all know Deal or No Deal. Those women were just there to be pretty and open the briefcases. I mean, come on, man. It was definitely not rocket science, but I can see how, people get into jobs like that and they think like, I'm not, this is more so surface, and they want to go further. The Golden State Warriors beat the Lakers today 123-109 in the opening game. Russell Westbrook is continuing to have a bad game. He had 19 points and 11 rebounds, which isn't terrible, but he's just not been on fire in a while. He's been falling off. Anthony Davis scored 27 points. LeBron scored 31. And Curry had 33. Wiggins on the Golden State Warriors had 20. And Clay had 18. So, yeah. It wasn't all that great. And James Harden, his team lost tonight. He's playing for Philly now. Even though he scored 35 points, it was not enough to win. So, yeah. That is what went on in the NBA tonight. So, the 76ers, the Celtics won. It was 126-117. So, basketball is back with their long season. We'll be discussing this for a while because it is definitely never ending. What else is going on? So there was um that YouTuber girl who killed her boyfriend, and it was like saying that she was the aggressor, but now people are saying that she was it was a self-defense situation. So let's see here, because they have a video of when the police came out to talk to them. So let's see.
Building employees called Miami police in regards to a domestic disturbance between OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny and her boyfriend Christian Abumseli, 2 days before investigators say she stabbed him to death. Clenny is in the lobby. The employee is the one who actually called police and tells them.
I said, do you want him to leave the property? She said no, she don't want him to.
I did not say that. I said
okay,
yes.
hold on.
No, but
Hold on, he's talking, then you talk.
You're looking at police body cam video from Friday, April 1st. One Paraíso building employees called Miami police in regards to a domestic disturbance between OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny and her boyfriend Christian Abumseli, 2 days before investigators say she stabbed him to death. Clenny is in the lobby. The employee is the one who actually called police and tells them.
I said, do you want him to charging towards her, and we actually try to get in the middle of it.
Clenny is visibly upset. She's on the phone with her dad while telling police Abumseli is stalking her.
Right now, like, I have not always been a victim, but, like, right now I'm a freaking victim in the situation. I'm scared to go to my dog.
Then says,
I want a restraining order against Christian Abumseli.
You want this person to completely disappear from your life. At the same time, you have him in your apartment here for 2 months with a ton of stuff in here.
Her boyfriend comes charging towards her, and we actually try.
So she's claiming self-defense. Back in August, she was charged with murder of her boyfriend. Since the arrest, there have been details about their troubled relationship and that have been rising to the surface. On Tuesday, new body camera footage shows that police were called to Courtney and Kristen's apartment building days before the murder. So you guys heard the video clip and everything. So yeah, I don't know. She might get off for this. You know, that is why you should not stay in toxic relationships, because, I mean, what other way is it going to end, man? Really, guys, let's see what else is going on. I know it's not that much stuff going on, but today is Brittany Griner's birthday, so she's celebrating it in a slammer. Unfortunately, she's out there still. Draymond Green, who had that practice punch video, he says he doesn't care about backlash. Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis' ex-nanny continues to throw out allegations. Let's see what else is going on that we're talking about. George Floyd's daughter is suing Kanye for $250 million for what he was speaking on, and she also sent a cease and desist, which obviously she's not old enough to sue, but somebody is suing on her behalf, obviously. Olivia shares the salad dressing recipe that has Harry such an uproar and her husband was such an uproar. So what this famous salad dressing is 2 tablespoons of Grey Poupon, 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, whisking it constantly with a fork. Slowly add 6 tablespoons of olive oil till the vinaigrette is thick and creamy. This makes a strong vinaigrette that's perfect for salad greens like arugula, watercress, and endive. So yeah, because Jason was completely in an uproar about her making Harry the special salad dressing. So yeah, James Corden apologized for his restaurant behavior, and the restaurant had banned him. I guess they lifted the ban after his apology. An ex-NFL player, Antonio Denard, dead at 32, shot and killed outside of a bar. I don't know what team he played for. He used to be on the Jaguars. Man, that's terrible. Rest in peace to that guy. Lamar Odom says that someone is accessing his Facebook and posting old pictures of him and Chloe. It's not him. The big Gabby Petito case was they had released some footage of her in laundry after everything that happened. They still have like evidence just showing that he was with her. Obviously, allegedly he's a murderer, but clearly when the trial comes, I mean, I don't know who else could have done it. Her mom says she's donated $100,000 to domestic violence, and they are also making a movie. So I'm sure this movie is going to be really a lot. People were saying Kanye is living like a vagabond and blowing through all his money. And then Kim is having to pay for security for her kids due to Kanye's online attacks. Tom Brady is struggling to focus on his personal life during season, compares it to war. Poor Brady. It's got to be so hard. That's what I'm saying. Money doesn't solve problems, guys. Like, look at Brady. He's got all them rings, and he's still just, having a rough time in life. If you want the Cobra Kai mansion, and you can make it your dojo for only $2,300 per night, if you want to rent it out, it's on Airbnb. So, without further ado, these stories can definitely get repetitive, but you guys definitely have the salad dressing recipe, so that's what's most important. Let's get into some TikTok.
Okay, story time. So let me tell y'all about this time me finding out that my ex was gay. So basically, I walked in on him getting... Okay? Y'all, I'm silly as hell, so don't be laughing through this video. So let's go back before that moment happened. So he was supposed to meet me, and I'm steady texting him, blowing his phone. I'm like, where you at? Mind you, we share our locations. So, baby, I pick up this phone, and I check the location, and I seen he was somewhere. So, I put it in my GPS, and guess what? Like, when I was driving there, like, I was like, dang, this area seemed familiar. Like, I feel like I've been over here before. When I pull up to the location, I realized that it was his homie crib. I ain't think nothing of it. I'm like, okay, he probably chilling over here before he comes see me. So, to even get in the building, you gotta get buzzed in. But I see this lady walking up, and she putting her little code in, and the door open. And I was like, wait, don't close the door. I'm trying to rush and get off the car. I finally get in the building, but y'all, I don't remember what apartment he lived in. And I don't know this nigga last name. But I remember when he had a kickback at his crib, it was his vending machine right by the door. So I'm steady walking around the building trying to find a vending machine. Y'all, why I see the door right by the vending machine? Guess what? So at this point, I was going to call him and let him know I was outside, but I wanted to surprise him. So I called him trying to see if he going to answer. Still ain't no answer. Then I was going to knock on the door, but then I was like, let me just twist the knob and see if it open. Why the fuck was the door unlocked? I opened up the door slow as hell, and ain't nobody in the living room. Like, the game just on, like, on the TV and stuff. And I'm like, where the fuck everybody at? But the bedroom door was closed. I ain't see my nigga, and I ain't see the homie either. So now my man, I'm thinking that he's sneaking bitches at his homie crib. So I busted in the room. Y'all, it wasn't no bitch. It was his homie. He was so shocked to see me. He could have shitted on himself. I ran the fuck up out of there, got my ass up. He kept calling me, don't call my phone. But the shit get even crazier. But guess what? You gonna have to come back with part 2. Alright, so I made y'all wait long enough for part 2. So after that whole situation happened, I did not communicate with him for a long ass time. Like, he kept blowing me up almost every day. I think he was so scared that he knew I was gonna tell everybody. The homie ended up moving out of town. And then why this nigga had his mama book me for Mother's Day? But listen, I didn't even know she booked me. She ended up calling my phone and was like, this such mama, I'm outside for my appointment. I was caught off guard so bad. I don't know if she knew about the situation or if she thought we were still going together. So I ended up answering the door, and as soon as I answered the door, she gave me a big hug. It was like, oh my gosh, I miss seeing you around. Woo. She was like, whatever you and such got going on, y'all need to make it right. So that right there told me she didn't know yet. She sat down, and I ended up doing her makeup. We was having, like, casual talk. And I was like, okay, should I tell her or should I not? But that would have been a shocker to find out your son was gay on Mother's Day. And it'll be a shocker because you're supposed to be a hood. So I ended up finishing her makeup. She liked it. Woo. So as soon as she was leaving, she was like, am I going to be seeing you more? And I was like, no, I don't deal with your son no more. And she was like, what happened? You know, you could tell me anything. And I'm like, you sure you want to know? She was like, it's that big? I was like, yeah. She was like, it can't be that bad. I want to know. So I spilled the beans. Y'all, when I told her, she got so defensive. Like, she told me, so why you lying on my son? My son ain't never did no stuff like that. Y'all, I could not believe it. I was like, okay, I told you what happened. If you don't believe me, then okay, go ask him. She ended up leaving with attitude, whatever. I'm glad I got my money right before that. But fast forward, he ended up coming out to the world. Congratulations. And now he turned into one of my clients.
Wow. What a wild story. And hey, this is a successful story because not only she could have been like one of them broken-hearted girls, but she just went back to hustling, and then he ended up becoming a client, and he came out the closet. Success. He should have been out the closet before he dated her, but Oh well, at least this ended good and amicably. Let's go to the next one.
39-year-old didn't hesitate to undergo a controversial eye surgery in which cosmetic implants are permanently placed in the eye, an operation that is not approved in the United States. Kiss had to fly to India to get it done.
Oh, when I first saw it, I was like in love with myself already. So, of course, I thought it was a great thing.
There were no initial complications, but 3 years later, Kiss is losing his eyesight. Dr. Avneet Sodigar will be removing the colored contacts. Unfortunately, this new surgery will not repair the damage that was done. Kiss will need a corneal transplant and glaucoma surgery. Dr. Sodigar is focused.
So this is 11.5 millimeters. Here's a 3.5 aperture.
On saving her patient's remaining vision.
I'm going to grab this implant. Go slowly.
It's a delicate operation.
Here's the implant.
The attached colored contacts have to be gently removed without further damaging the cornea.
Its pupil was very decentered downwards.
Dr. Sodigar says more people need to be aware of the severe damage caused by these permanent colored lenses.
Yeah, so I've only known like of people doing this that are celebrities. I've never seen like a regular person, but yeah, I think the operations in Africa and they go over to change the color of their eyes, and I'm like, why y'all want to play with y'all eyes? I don't even think I'd get LASIK. I don't trust doctors, like especially with my eyesight. I'm gonna just stay blind, like. And I wear glasses. I could get LASIK, but I'm just telling y'all, like, I don't trust none of this stuff. And the fact to go get some contacts implanted in your eyes, beware, those are not approved by the FDA. Yeah. Let's go to the next one.
There's another form of dickup that I want you to think about too, and it's actually the one where you're literally exercising the tissue. Maybe we're deployed and you don't have access to a pump or anything like that. You can actually jelk. Think about it. If you lay on your arm like this for 24 hours, you get up, you can barely feel your arm. You're like, dang, my arm went to sleep on me. So I want you to think of the D as a similar thing. Like it can go to sleep on you. Because technically what it's supposed to be doing is exercising every night. Every night it's supposed to be getting hard and soft and hard and soft. And over time, what stops happening, because our testosterone levels decrease, we're getting less sleep, we're getting more stress, we're involved in more toxic activities, so on and so forth. Maybe you're smoking, maybe you're drinking too much, maybe you work the night shift, maybe you're in your screen too much, you're sitting too much, whatever have you. The D stops exercising by itself.
Exercise that D, fellas and ladies. You know, I told my husband this today, which his D gets a lot of exercise, but this could be a two-edged sword. But as his wife, I got to take one on the team. For the team, I'm going to be exercising that thing one way or the other. We got to keep this baby alive. Ladies, call the joke. You know, they always used to say you go blind if you masturbated too much, but fellas, they say, you heard the doctor. This is from a doctor. Exercise your joke. Joke your junk. Joke your junk. Love that. Let's go to the next one.
Everyone needs to know what was announced last night at China's once every 5-year conference. While the world is distracted by what's happening in Ukraine, China and Russia have been quietly stockpiling gold at an unprecedented rate, preparing for something massive. They recently announced plans to jointly create a new currency that is backed by gold in a bid to have the world's new reserve currency, dethroning the US. And if achieved, would be absolutely catastrophic for the US economy. And last night, China's leader, Xi Jinping, said something that has set this entire process in motion. He announced that China have now achieved full control over Hong Kong and that Taiwan is next. And just as a reminder, the US designates Taiwan as a non-NATO ally, meaning it is ready to come to the country's defense in the event of an attack. And if you think that the USA is not taking this seriously, here's something that's happening in the background too. The Biden administration is forcing American workers in China to quit their job or lose their US citizenship. Also, every American executive and engineer working in China's semiconductor manufacturing industry resigned yesterday, reducing China's chip manufacturing to zero overnight. Remember, semiconductors are essential for things like cars, phones, computing, healthcare, military systems, clean energy, and countless other operations. But let's say that China wanted to immediately restore their chip manufacturing dominance again. Guess which island produces the world's majority of semiconductors? The ball is now in China's court and the world will be nervously watching to see what happens next. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated.
It's still all about this chip, man. And Taiwan is who produces the most chips, and that's why this is a very hot issue. And yeah, that is definitely important to know. So keep your eyes peeled on that and pay attention to Taiwan, I guess. Like, who knew? Made in Taiwan is just not a slogan. Let's go. And you have to think about, like, you know, we sent American workers over there to show them how to do this, and now, like, they're saying resign. It's like, you know, we forge these relationships with these countries, and then this stuff happens, and the fact that we take that work from our country is it's just baffling to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me, but this is the world we live in, and then we'll end up having to go to war for something that none of us signed up for. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Let's get into one more.
Women should date multiple men at a time to explore their options.
I think they should, respectfully though. Like, just because you date doesn't mean you have to sleep with people. And men do it. Men will serial date as many women, and they make sure women prove who is the best before they choose you. And not to say, like, again, because I think sometimes when men hear that, they automatically think that means you got to put out. Go out on dates, get to know men, and decide if that's somebody you even see that you want to be around. Because a lot of these, never mind, I'm not going to go there. But sometimes you can get caught up, and you might put all your eggs in one basket, and then you find out a few weeks later that he's trash, that he's broke, that that's not his car, that, you know, a bunch of different other stuff. So just, you know, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go to Pearl next on that one. Women should date multiple men at times to explore their options.
That's not his car. Has that happened to you?
Is that you being funny? Or was that a genuine?
No, I was just asking. I've just never heard of that. No, I was just asking. I've never heard of, like, he, like, picks you up in a car.
Okay. I mean, you can answer the question. I wasn't hearing you.
I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just asking.
So I agree with what she said. I think everybody should date multiple people until, you know, you kind of fizzle out who's who. I think that people get so hard up for companionship that they settle, and then they end up, like, not knowing about people. I mean, that's even friendships. When I never understand how, like, when it comes to friendships, we actually want our friends to prove themselves as our friends, but when it comes to relationships, we just hook up with anybody just because of our needs needing to be met. And it's just like the bar is low. As much as people swear they have a bar, the bar is low and it's superficial. Like, I feel like you should find your relationships just like you find your friendships, and, you know, you get to know each other, you hang out, you don't put any, like, stress or strain on your expectations. You're just having a good time. I mean, I don't think you should go crazy with a million dates, but I don't think you should put all your eggs in one basket per se when you're dating. if you find someone you have something in common with, if you're actually seriously doing it and not just using people, there's a difference between having multiple relationships and just trying to get benefits and actually just getting to know multiple people. It'll make, if you're actually putting that time in it, you'll start finding out who you have stuff in common with and who you don't. Then when you settle down, then you pick the right one, maybe, and pray. And it's a gamble either way, but definitely don't put all your eggs in one basket, because unless you really took time to know this person, it's not going to work. Me and my husband, we talked for a minute before we settled down. We really got to know each other and hung out, and yeah, and then we're married 8 years later. So there you have it. That is the news that you can use or lose, guys. Pay attention to this Taiwan issue. It seems like it's going to be a hot button issue. Other than that, I'm going to sign off for today. F is for Family is signing off. Toodles.